Our assigned report is all about the Republic Act 9162, an act defending violence against women and their children, providing for protective measures for victims, prescribing penalties therefore and for other purposes. Section 1. Naglalaman ito ng short title ng act na ito, which is Anti-Violence Against Women and their Children Act of 2004. Sa title pa lang, alam na natin kung para saan ang batas na ito. Ito ay para sa mga babae at mga anak na sinasaktan. Section 2. The Declaration of Policy. Nakasaad dito kung ano ang i-cover ng batas na ito at bakit ito ginawa. At ang sabi dito, the states is fully concerned and respect the dignity of women and children as well as the human rights. And the family and its member ay kailangan ng proteksyon from violence and threats sa kanilang security and safety. That is why ang act na ito ay ginawa para ma-address ang mga violence against them or us na mga babae at syempre mga anak in line sa mga fundamental freedoms na nakasali ang Pilipinas gaya ng Constitution and the provision of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. For example nito is yung mga pambubugbog ng asawang lalaki sa babae and madaming ganito ang mostly nababalita sa social medias. Section 3 contains the definition of terms, definition sa kung paano ginagamit ang salita or phrases dito sa batas na ito. First is violation against women and their children. It is an act or series of acts committed by any person against his wife, a woman na may naging sexual or dating relationship, may anak man sila or wala, at sa mga anak. Ang mga series of acts na ito ay ang mga physical, sexual harm, or suffering economic abuse including threats of such act, battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. Physical violence. Literally, physical means kitang-kita yung resulta nito gaya ng pambubugbog at sampal. Next is sexual violence. Example nito is act of lasciviousness, rape, sexual harassment, pinipilit ng isang tao yung babae or anak niya na makisali sa kahit na anong sexual activities by the use of threats, ganun, or sinasubject mo sila sa prostitution. Next is psychological violence. Example naman nito is yung pinapahiya mo ang isang babae or anak mo sa harap ng ibang tao. Included din ang pagbabawal na makita ng mga anak ng walang rason, pati na din pagpipilit sa kanila na manood ng porn. Basta lahat ng acts na nagkakos ng mental or emotional impact, economic abuse naman yung ginagawa mong act para makontrol yung biktima na maging financial dependent. For example is yung pagtitigil mo na magbigay ng sustento sa anak, pagpipigil sa kanila na magkaroon ng financial income from legal ways. Next naman is battery. Hindi naman ito yung battery na nilalagay sa isang bagay para gumana. It is the physical harm na ginagawa sa mga babae at anak. For example is yung suntok, pagpapalo, or pananampal. Ano naman ang battered woman syndrome? May mga babae kasi na nag-i-stay pa din sa relationship nila kahit na physical abuse na sila at sinasaktan na at kahit paulit-ulit pang gawin sa kanila ay nag-i-stay pa din. Stalking. Basic na ito sa atin kahit lahat naman tayo familiar sa salitang stalker na tumutukoy sa mga sumusunod sa lahat ng ginagawa mo kahit saan ka pumunta. Next is dating relationship. Ito yung mga hindi pa kasal. Example nito is mag-live-in. Sexual relationship naman is yung act na may involvement of sexual intercourse kahit na once or twice at nagkaroon sila ng anak. Safe place of shelter. Basic na sa ating lahat, which is prior example nito is bahay. Lastly, children. Ito yung mga 18 below or above na di kayang ipagtanggol ang sarili like PWDS. Section 4. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa construction ng act na ito. Ito ay para ma-promote ang protection at safety ng mga kababaihan at mga anak nito.
Section 5. Acts of violence against women and their children. The crime of violence against women and their children is committed through any of the following acts. A. causing physical harm to the woman or child. Yung kung sinasaktan na niya, binubugbog, ganun. Threatening to cause the woman or her child physical harm. So, yung sinasabi niyang, for example, susuntukin kita kapag hindi mo ako binigyan ng pera, parang ganun. C. Attempting to cause the woman or her child physical harm. Ito na yung kung sa Ilocano, ilaylayatnan, yung danog sa mukha ng asawa niya or sa kinakasama niya. D. Placing the woman or her child in fear of imminent physical harm. So, ang example naman nito is yung kapag alam na ng bata o ng kinakasama niya, nasasaktan na siya ng kanilang ama ng physical harm. Attempting to compel or compelling the woman or her child to engage in conduct which the woman or her child has the right to desist from or desist from the conduct which the woman or her child has the right to engage in, or attempting to restrict or restricting the woman or her child's freedom of movement or conduct by force or threat of force, physical or other harm, or threat of physical or other harm, or intimidation directed against the woman or her child. This sa sinasabi naman dito sa sentence na ito ay yung hinahawakan na ng lalaki yung freedom ng mag-ina or ng kinakasama niya o kaya yung bata. Yung tipong hindi na siya pinapalabas, gustong may pupuntahan, na may bibilhin, ganon, kinokontrol na niya. Next, this shall include but not limited to the following acts committed with the purpose or effect of controlling or restricting the woman or her child's movement or conduct. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, ay yun po yung kinokontrol niya. 1. Threatening to deprive or actually depriving the woman or her child of custody to her or his family. So, ito na yung threaten ng lalaki na pagdadamot or ipagdadamot yung anak niya sa kanyang asawa na babae. Depriving or threatening to deprive the woman or her children to financial support legally due to her or her family, or deliberately providing the woman's children insufficient financial support. So, dito sa sentence naman nito, sinasaad na kung ang lalaki daw ay hindi na nagbibigay ng financial support o tinake away na yung pagpa-financial support sa mag-ina. Depriving or threatening to deprive the woman or her child of a legal right. Yung pinagkakait na ng lalaki yung kanyang anak sa kanyang asawa through legal right. Yung legal right dapat ng babae sa anak niya ay pinagkakait na niya. 4. Preventing the woman in engaging in any legitimate profession, occupation, business, or activity, or controlling the victim's own money or properties, or solely controlling the conjugal or common money or properties. Ito naman is yung prevent na ng lalaki sa woman ang pagpapatayo niya ng business or yung money niya, kinukuha na niya yung sarili niyang, yung pinapaguran ng babae, kinukuha na ng lalaki, parang ganun. Siya na yung naghahawak, nagkokontrol, at pinagdadamutan na niya yung babae sa sarili niyang pera. This shall include but not be limited to the following acts: stalking or following the woman of her child in public or private places. Ini-stalk niya. Ayan. Peering in the window or lingering outside the residence of the woman of her child. Ito yung peering or peeking. Ito yung parang sinisilip-silip niya, tinatago-tago niya yung sarili niya para lang makita yung woman or child. Entering or remaining the dwelling or on the property of the woman of her child against her will. Ito yung biglang papasukin na lang sa bahay, ganun, without the consent of the woman. Parang trespassing, ganun. Destroying the property and personal belongings or inflicting harm to animals or pets of the woman or her child. Ito na yung binabasag na niya yung mga importanteng gamit ng babae or yung mga mamahaling gamit niya. Pwede din yung or inflicting harm to animals. Ito na yung sinasaktan na din niya pati yung mga pets ng babae. Engaging in any form of harassment or violence. Causing mental or emotional anguish. So, when we say anguish, or pwede rin stress ang tawag dito, or anxiety. Public ridicule or humiliation to the woman or her child. Ito yung public humiliation, yung nag-iiskandalo na sa public, including but not limited to repeated verbal and emotional abuse. Repeated verbal ay yung pinagsasalitaan na niya ng masasama, yung mga nakakasakit na mga words, gaya ng for example, wala kang kwenta, ang tanga-tanga mo, bobo ka, ganyan. And denial of financial support or custody minor children of access to the woman's or children. Ito nga yung hindi na siya nagbibigay ng financial support.
So let us now proceed to section 6, the penalties. So ano nga ba ang penalties kapag nagawa ng isang kinakasamang lalaki sa kanyang kinakasamang babae ang mga bagay na na-state sa section 5. The crime of violence against women and their children under section 5 hereof shall be punished according to the following rules. A. Acts falling under section 5 constituting attempted, frustrated, or consummated parricide, or murder, or homicide shall be punished in accordance with the provisions of the revised penal code. If these acts resulted in mutilation, it shall be punishable in accordance with the revised penal code. Those constituting serious physical injuries shall have the penalty of prison mayor. So, ang example ng serious physical injuries ay yung tipong, example, yung binuhusan ng lalaki ang kinakasama niyang babae ng kumukulong tubig to the point na nagtamo ito ng second degree burn, o kaya yung nakikita na yung taba sa kanyang yung tipong sunog na yung muka niya, yung kamay, yung likod niya, yung buhok niya nalagas, ganun. So those constituting less serious physical injury shall be punished by prison correctional. These less serious physical injuries ay yung mga nagtamo ng mga pasa o kaya konting sugat. And those constituting slight physical injuries shall be punishable by arresto mayor. Ito naman yung tipong slight physical injuries ay yung pasa lamang. Acts falling under section 5 shall be punished by imprisonment of 2 degrees lower than prescribed penalty for the consummated crime as specified in the preceding paragraph, but shall in no case be lower than arresto mayor. Acts falling under section 5C and 5D shall be punished by arresto mayor. Acts falling under section 5E shall be punished by prison correctional. Acts falling under section 5F shall be punished by arresto mayor. Acts falling under section 5G shall be punished by prison mayor. And last, letter F, acts falling under section 5, letter H, and section 5I shall be punished by prison mayor. So, ano nga ba yung mga binanggit kong mga penalties? According to Chapter 3 of the Revised Penal Code, Duration and Effects of Penalties, Section 1, Article 27, Reclusion Perpetua,
is any person sentenced to any perpetual shall be pardoned after undergoing the penalty for 30 years, unless such person, by reason of his conduct of some serious, shall be considered by the Chief Executive as unworthy of pardon. Ang reclusion temporal naman is the penalty of reclusion temporal shall be from 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Prison mayor and temporary disqualification, the duration of the penalties of prison mayor. So the duration shall be from 6 years and 1 day to 12 years, except when the penalty of disqualification is imposed as an accessory penalty, in which case its duration shall be that of principal penalty. So ang prison correctional naman, or suspension and destierro, the duration of the penalty shall be from 6 months and 1 day to 6 years, except when suspensions is imposed as an accessory penalty, in which case its duration shall be that of that principal penalty. Ano naman ang aresto mayor? The duration of penalty of aresto mayor shall be from 1 month and 1 day to 6 months. Ang aresto minor, the duration of the penalty shall be from 1 day to 30 days. If the acts are committed while the woman or child is pregnant or committed in the presence of her child, the penalty to be applied shall be the maximum period of penalty prescribed in the section. In addition to imprisonment, perpetrator shall pay a fine in the amount of not less than 100,000 pesos, but not more than 300,000 pesos. Undergo mandatory psychological counseling or psychiatric treatment and shall report compliance to the court. So, mas mabigat ang haharapin na kaso ng suspect kapag nakumit niya ang mga nasa section 5 sa kinakasama niya habang ito ay buntis, or nasa harap naman ng kanyang anak. So, we will proceed to the section 7, the venue. The regional trial court, designated as a family court, shall have original and exclusive jurisdiction over cases of violence against women and their children under this law. In the absence of such court in the place where the offense was committed, the case shall be filed in the regional trial court, where the crime or any of its element was committed at the option of the complainant, So, Section 8, Protection Orders. A protection order is issued under this act for the purpose of preventing further acts of violence against a woman or her child specified in Section 5 of this act and granting other necessary relief. So, this section is ordered para maprotektahan yung victim sa suspect. The relief granted under a protection order serve the purpose of safeguarding the victim from further harm para hindi na nito masaktan ulit o makagawa ulit ng violenteng mga bagay, minimizing any disruption in the victim's daily life, and facilitating the opportunity and ability of the victim to independently regain control over her life. The provisions of the protection order shall be enforced by law enforcement agencies. So, tong section na to, under the law enforcement agencies din po. The protection orders that may be issued under this act are the Barangay Protection Order or the BPO, Temporary Protection Order or the TPO, and Permanent Protection Order. So, may mga iba't ibang sangay din tayo na tumutulong para sa protection order na to. The protection orders that may be issued under this act shall include any some or all of the following rules. A. Prohibition of the respondent from threatening to commit or committing, personally or through another, any acts of mentioned in the Section 5 of this act. Prohibition of the respondent from harassing or annoying telephone contacting or otherwise communication with the petitioner, directly or indirectly. So, sa protection order na ito, pinagbabawal na ang suspect na any contact or communication sa victim na hindi dapat niya gawin kasi baka magdadala na naman ito ng trauma sa victim na baka sasaktan na ulit na naman niya. The word threatening din ay bawal din niya itong, at kapag nalaman ng mga sangay ng protection orders na threatening pa rin niya ang victim, ay maaari pa rin nila itong kunin ulit, pwede nilang ulit kasuhan. Removal and exclusion of the respondent from the residence of the petitioner. So, yung suspect is ilalayo nila sa residence ng victim para hindi na nito magulo pa or ma-threaten gaya ng sinabi kanina, regardless of ownership of the residence, either temporarily for the purpose of protecting the petitioner or permanently where no property rights are violated. And if respondent must remove personal effects from the residence, the court shall direct a law enforcement agent to accompany the respondent has gathered his things and escort respondent from his residence. Directing the respondent to stay away from the petitioner and designated family or household member. So, directing respondent to stay away from a petitioner, pag-uutos na nila itong lumayas o kaya wag nang kausapin, wag nang kontakin ang petitioner o kaya yung mga household member niya or pamilya niya or any family members at a distance specified by the court. Pero syempre, na-approve din ito ng court and to stay away from the residence, school, place or employment or any specified place frequented by the petitioner and any designated family or household member. Bawal na itong pumunta sa school sa pinagtatrabuhuhan ng petitioner, sa school ng kanyang anak, sa school ng petitioner kung nag-aaral pa ito, at sa kahit anong lugar na maaaring pupuntahan ng petitioner. Directing lawful possession and use by the petitioner of an automobile and other essential personal effects regardless of ownership, and directing the appropriate law enforcement officer to accompany the petitioner of the residence of the parties to ensure that the petitioner is safely restored to the possession of the automobile and other essential personal effects, or to supervise the petitioner or respondent's removal of personal belongings. Granting a temporary or permanent custody of a children to the petitioner. Directing the respondent to provide to the woman and of her child if entitled to legal support. So, aalisin na din nila yung aalisin din nila yung permanent custody ng child na ipupunta na ilang ito sa ina kung nananakit ang ama o kinakasama ng kanyang ina. Notwithstanding other laws to the contrary, the court shall order an appropriate percentage of the income or of salary of the respondent to be withheld regularly by the respondent's employer for the same to be automatically remitted directly to the woman. Failure to remit and or withhold or any delay in the remittance of support of the woman and her child without justifiable cause shall render to the respondent or his employee liable for indirect contempt of court. So kapag hindi natupad ng victim yung pagbigay ng suporta sa child at sa woman, maaari ulit nila itong ipunta sa korte. Prohibition of the respondent from any use or possession of any firearm or deadly weapon, in order him to surrender the same to the court or for appropriately disposition by the court, including revocation of license and disqualification to apply for any license to use or possess a firearm. If the offender is a law enforcement agent, the court shall order the offender to surrender his firearm and shall direct the appropriate authority to investigate on the offender and take appropriate action matter. So, prohibited din po nila na yung respondent ay hindi dapat magkaroon ng any any possession of firearm or deadly weapon. Restitution for actual damages caused by the violence inflicted, including but not limited to property damage, medical expenses, childcare expenses, and loss of income. Directing the DSWD or any appropriate agency to provide petitioner may need. Provision of such other forms of relief as the court deems necessary to protect and provide for the safety of the petitioner and any designated family or household member, provided petitioner and any designated family or household member consents to such relief. Any of the reliefs provided under this section shall be granted even in the absence of a degree of legal separation or annulment of declaration of absolute nullity of marriage, the issuance of a BPO, or the pendency of an application for BPO shall not preclude a petitioner from applying for or the court from granting a TPO or PPO.
Section 9 up to Section 12 of RA 9262, or also known as the Anti-Violence Against Women Act of 2004. So under Section 9, who may file petition for protection orders. So bago natin talakayin, ano nga ba ang protection orders? So ito ay para sa mga kababaihan, or ito ay laban sa mga kababaihan na sinasaktan or inaapi ng mga ibang tao or yung kanilang mga asawa. So, who may file petition for protection orders? So, the following are the have the right to file petition for protection orders. So, number 1 is the offended party. So, kapag sinabi nating offended party, ito yung mga persons who has injured, or ito yung mga naapi. The next is parents or guardians of the offended party. Ascendants, descendants of collateral relatives within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity. So kapag sinabing ascendants, ito yung mga grandfather or yung mga ancestors natin. Kapag sinabi naman nating descendants, ito yung mga children. Then, letter D, officers or social workers of the DSWD or social workers of local government units. Police officers, preferably those in charge of women and children's desk. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga may task talaga sa mga kababaihan or may knowledge about sa mga kababaihan or bata. The next is punong barangay or di barangay kagawad. The next, lawyer, counselor, therapist, or healthcare provider of the petitioner. And lastly, at least 2 concerned responsible citizens of the city or municipality where the violence against women and children occurred and who has personal knowledge of the offense committed. So, ibig sabihin, yung dalawang kukunin mo na citizens from your city or municipality, kailangan may knowledge about dun sa offense committed. So, lahat ng mga nabanggit na yan ay pwedeng mag-file ng protection orders kung gusto mong maprotektahan ng iyong sarili or yung iyong kasarian. Especially kapag ikaw ay sinasaktan, ikaw ay binabastos, ganon. So, under Section 10, where to apply for a protection order. So, an application for the temporary permanent order or the permanent protection order or PPO may be filed in the regional trial court. So, kapag sinabing regional trial court, ito yung may pinakamalawak na tungkulin. Ito yung hawak niya lahat. Kumbaga, kapag sinabing regional trial court, hawak niya yung buong region from region 1 up to 13. So, next is Metropolitan Trial Court. So, pwede kang mag-file dyan. So, from the word metropolitan, ito ay jurisdiction niya or referring to the cities only. Then municipal trial court naman is from the word municipal, it is referring only to your municipalities. Then municipal circuit trial court, ito ay kapag it covers 2 or more municipalities with territorial jurisdictions over the place of residence of the petitioner. Then, provided, however, that if a family court exists in the place of residence of the petitioner, the application shall be filed with that court. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nagawa mo mismo dun sa residence ng yung petitioner, ay pwede kang mag-file dun sa court na yon. Under Section 11, paano naman mag-apply ng protection order? So, the application for protection order must be in writing. So, kailangan hindi siya encoded, signed and verified under oath by the applicant. So, kailangan may pirma yung aplikante para sa ganun is may magpapatunay na siya nga talaga yon. It may be filed as an independent action or as incidental relief in any civil or criminal case. The subject matter or issues thereof partakes of violence as described in this act. A standard protection order application form written in English with translation of the major local languages. So, kailangan yung isulat mo is English siya. Then, kailangan may translation ng local languages. So, kapag sinabing local languages, ito yung para mas mabilis nilang maintindihan yung ibig sabihin. Then, shall be made available to facilitate applications for protection order and shall contain among the following information. So, first is the name and address of the petitioner and respondents. Description of relationship between petitioner and respondent. So, ibig sabihin, halimbawa ako at yung tatay ko, yung relationship is father. The next is a statement of the circumstances of the abuse. So, ito na yung concern niya. Then, next is description of the reliefs requested by the petitioner as specified in Section 8 herein. Request for counsel and reasons for such. Request for waiver of application fees until hearing and an attestation that there is no pending application for a protection order in another court. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan hindi siya pending ng pag-a-apply ng protection order sa ibang korte. So, in case naman kung yung applicants ay hindi siya yung biktima, so, kailangan may provide siyang affidavit of the applicant attesting to the circumstances of the abuse suffered by the victim. So, kailangan yung may maipakita o magpapatunay na yung kalagayan niya ay qualified nga ba talaga sa pag-apply ng protection order. Then, the circumstances of consent given by the victim for the filing of application. So, kailangan may consent or may maipakita na nagpapatunay na nagpapa-file siya. Then, when disclosure of the address of the victim will pose danger to her life, it shall be so stated in the application. In such a case, the applicant shall attest that the victim is residing in the municipality or city over the court as territorial jurisdiction. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan yung nagpapa-file ng protection order ay kailangan resident siya ng kanilang city or municipality kung sakop nga ba ito ng territorial jurisdiction nila, and shall provide a mailings address for purpose of service processing. An application for protection order filed with the court shall be considered an application for both a TPO and PPO. Barangay officials and court personnel shall assist applicants in the preparation of applications. So, ang sinasabi lang dito is kailangan kapag may magpa-file ng protection order na applicant, kailangan may i-assist ng mga officers upang sa ganun is maituro sa kanila kung ano nga ba yung mga step na kanilang gagawin. And last, Section 12, Enforceability of Protection Orders. All TPOs and PPOs issued under this act shall enforceable anywhere in the Philippines, and the violations thereof shall be punishable with a fine ranging for 5,000 pesos to 50,000 pesos and or imprisonment of 6 months. So, napaka awatable naman na ito para sa atin, na kapag once na nagkamali yung or hindi nila in-enforce yung in-issue sa kanila, ay mapapatawan sila ng mga violations na nabanggit.
Section 13. The legal representation of petitioner for protection order. If the woman or her child requests if in the application for the protection order for the appointment of counsel because of lack of economic means to hire a counsel departed, the court shall immediately direct the public attorney's office or the PAO to represent the petitioner in the hearing on the application. If the PAO determines that the applicant can afford to hire the service of the counsel departed, it shall facilitate the legal representation of the petitioner by the counsel departed. The lack of access to the family or conjugal resources by the applicant, such as when the same are controlled by the perpetrator, shall qualify the petitioner to legal representation by PAO. However, a private counsel offering free legal service is not barred from representing the petitioner. So, sinasabi lang dito sa section na ito na kapag yung victim is wala silang kakayahang kumuha ng attorney or the lawyer na magtatanggol sa kanila, is bibigyan sila at pumunta lang sila sa PAO or the Public Attorney's Office.
Section 14.